Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Need to cover that mid-spine gap using a paper masking tape. This is to prevent any potential leakage later that could ruin my other completed spreads. As usual, I need to protect the back pages with some rough papers. Here I have a paper napkin from Daiso. Gonna trim it a bit. With my PVA glue, I'm gonna dab some of it onto my spread, just to put the napkin in place first. Now with a wet brush, I'm spreading more glue on top, thus making a decoupage effect. I would always glue backgrounds on one side first, to avoid unwanted air bubbles in the middle section. Now speed drying with my heat gun. Next, with my gesso, I'll give a pretty thick coverage to the spread, but not to the extent of covering the whole napkin's design entirely. Here's a roll of drywall mesh tape. It's simply a sticky neck tape for simple-minded artists like me. I'm gonna cut it out into random uneven lengths and angles. Pasting them down on the sides. They're almost invisible now, should be discernible once colors are in. Here I have a hexagon pattern stencil I'd cut using my Cricut machine. I'll be using my Winsor & Newton modeling paste with it. It's a very thin, fragile mylar sheet, hence I had to apply the paste carefully. Always clean your stencils right after every use. My white acrylic paint, taking just a bit first. Adding my yellow paint from Daiso a bit. I want a pale yellow. Trying to give a watery wash to the sides of the spread. Now with my purple acrylic paint, also giving a watery wash with it, then using my water spray to let it spread more. Blotting off that pooling water in the middle, I'm trying to give some dark blotches to the purple parts. Using the black from my watercolor set, making it watery enough as it flows through the grooves of those patterned hexagons. Still not happy with how pale the spread looks, I'm trying to darken the black parts. Now adding an extra dash of that remaining yellow on the top of the black section. I'll be using this mixed number clear stamp with this black ink pad by Tsukinico. Now to let my mojo going, I'll use that leftover purple paint for some splatters. I'll be choosing this large butterfly on this clear stamp set, sticking it on this acrylic block. Using my black ink pad again, I'm gonna use this white space on these recycled papers for the imprints. Personally, not a fan of thick cardstocks on my spreads, so I prefer thin papers like these printer papers. Next, I'll swap to the second largest butterfly stamp I have on the set, drying the ink a bit first, then tearing out that paper. To stay within the same color theme, I'm using those leftover paints to color those butterflies. I won't recommend this, best if you'd color them with alcohol markers, but I'm not in the room where my markers are, so too lazy. Unsatisfied with the light purple, I'm darkening the color again. Again with the same ink pad, I'm gonna etch both butterflies. Using my matte medium, I'll paste down those insects. Now adding some yellow splatters. Once dried, it's time to trim off those napkins. With my pen knife and ruler, I'll run the knife along the edges lightly again and again. I'll do that to the rest of the spread sides. Here's my rounded corner puncher to trim off all the 4 corners. I was still unhappy with how this top part looked. So I'm using that leftover yellow paint to the parts I feel needed more colors. Now with my black gel pen, I'll re-outline those butterflies to make them pop up more. Along with darkening the bodies. And giving it a pair of antennas. Here's a bunch of quotes I printed with my inkjet printer, some in black and some in white backgrounds, just 2 fonts for now. I chose the quote, "Forget about style, worry about results." Gonna snip it into 2 parts, testing out the placement first. Using that bit of leftover matte medium to secure those stickers down. Using my black gel pen again, I'll give the quote some sketchy outlines. Finally, taking off those rough papers, and I'm done. Don't know if I'm happy with this spread, but oh well, just another one in the journal. So, thank you guys for watching. Happy journaling and bye.